Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to the movie review, aka After I Saw. This time is going to be on Ne Zha II. This movie is a sequel to a movie that I never heard about. If you live in America like me, then it's possible that, you probably haven't heard of it either until this movie was revealed. And it's a movie that everybody has been talking about before it even hit America, and before most Americans even got to see it. In this movie, we follow Ne Zha as he is on a new journey to save all of humanity, as he is pretty much humanity's last hope from the world being destroyed by these evil forces. And he, along with his partner, go along this journey and try to save all of China. Now, last year, Pixar gave us the highest grossing animated film of all time, Inside Out 2, grossing over $1.6 billion worldwide. And because most movies nowadays haven't been nearly getting as much success as they did back then, it was possible that it would be a while before another movie would top Inside Out 2. And by a while, I mean less than a year. If you count that as a while, in which case for a movie, it isn't, as Inside Out 2 has officially gotten beaten by this movie, and it doesn't even have a full American release yet. But, yeah, let me let you in on a little secret, okay? For those of you who don't know, you want to know what the box office numbers for this movie are so far? Because in case you haven't seen them, that's right. This movie has grossed nearly $2 billion on an $80 million budget. And it literally beat every single animated film ever made. And this is not a movie made by Disney or Pixar or DreamWorks or Illumination. This is a film that was fully made in China. And it is practically hard to believe. Like, if you were watching this movie, you could have sworn it was an unreleased Disney film, but Disney had nothing to do with this film. And now that the film is finally coming out fully in America this week, and the fact that I was one of the few people to get to see it early, is it really worth all the hype? Is the audience truly right about this being a groundbreaking film? Is it really that amazing? Oh yes, it is. And I haven't even seen the first film, but I want to now. And this movie indicates that there is going to be another movie. I mean, of course, there would be another movie coming out because, the film is just breaking records in terms of animation box office numbers. Then yeah, I am all on board with this franchise. Now, watching this movie, despite the fact that this is a Chinese film, it is going to remind you of anime, specifically with Dragon Ball and Demon Slayer. Those are kind of like the two best ones that I would kind of describe this film, as Ne Zha is actually a demon who was raised by mortal parents. And I want to look more into this story with the first film, because of course, you would kind of have to watch the first film to fully get the full context behind the story. I mean, it does have some references to the original film, as far as I'm aware of. I didn't look up any clips of the original, but it does have a few in case you haven't seen the original, so there's that. But as I was watching this movie, I didn't feel like, I really needed a whole lot to know from the original film in order to fully get the entire context behind the franchise, because I was just enjoying this as a film itself. Because the animation, I saw this in IMAX 3D, and it was probably one of the best IMAX 3D experiences I've had in quite a while, let alone for an animated film. Because, oh man, despite the fact that this was not a Disney film, it might as well be, because hot damn, the animation just leaps off the screen like crazy, and it feels like it was going for a much more higher budget. But as the storyline progresses, because the animation was so dazzling, it really had me hooked on the storyline. And this is an over 2 hour long movie. No, scratch that. A nearly 2.5 hour long movie. It's probably the longest animated film I've seen in the theater, beating out films like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Princess Kaguya. I didn't think animated films could get as long as this, but they did. And while, yeah, there are a few scenes that drag a little bit, it didn't happen often because I was still deeply engaged with the storyline that I kind of forgot that this was a 2.5 or a nearly 2.5 hour long movie, as not a single piece of animation felt lazy or dull, because the animation is always dazzling. It leaps off the screen in terms of the colors from the character designs. It was out of this world, and I just had myself a blast watching this on the biggest screen that I could possibly see it. From the dragons probably look the coolest throughout the film, and there are action sequences that happen like during the last hour, and I'm not going to get into major spoilers or anything like that, but you're going to get a lot out of this film when it comes to the action. It does have bits of humor here and there, which does kind of feel a little bit quirky, but it's something that I kind of expected from a film like this that was released from another country, especially for a film that would be heavily inspired by anime. As far as I'm aware of, all I can say is that this movie had very heavy inspiration, and the fact that the movie has a heavy focus on Chinese lore, yeah, I can see why China has been very pleased with this film. And the fact is that, screenings for this movie in China were selling out like crazy. So much, in fact, that they had to add in more showtimes for this movie when it was released in China. It shows that, this movie has been celebrated, and it rightfully deserves it, because this movie, despite the fact that it does have humor here and there, there's never a time where it kind of takes away from the emotion, because there is a lot of it. This movie gets very impactful and very dark, because don't let the animation fool you. This is not a kid's movie. I had a feeling it would kind of, have some adult themes, but oh man, this movie gets dark. There are scenes of blood. I mean, it's not always like in your face or anything like that, but this movie never shies away from violence. It gets intense. There are sequences throughout the film that just get crazy. It just shows that animation isn't always for kids. It should never be called a genre for kids, because these people show that it can appeal to literally anybody. It has very mature themes, and it uses them in a way that feels like it's earned when it comes to the emotion and the storytelling, because it was always so engaging and always fits in with the animation. And I really like these characters too, from the villains to the main lead. Despite the fact that it's called Ne Zha, it focuses on a lot of other characters too, which I generally felt for and cared for. And once it got to the later half of the movie, it felt like it completely changed. It started off lighthearted at first, but it really changes much later on. And just a reminder to the movie industry, no use of AI was used to make this film. Not a single use of AI was used to write this film, to use the animation style. Even when it came to the English dub, they got full-on real people to voice these characters, from Michelle Yeoh. And while, yeah, the dubbing for the American release doesn't always fit well, but hey, I was still loving my time with the movie. It never ruined it for me. Also, while we're on the subject of AI and animation, one thing I kind of forgot to mention in my review for The Bad Guys 2 was that during the end credits, by the end of the end credits, they had a warning label that the movie should not be used to train AI whatsoever, because if it does, yeah, they better file those lawyers, because, yeah, there'd be a lot of lawsuits from it. And that makes me happy to see, knowing the fact that DreamWorks knows that, AI it should not be used to create films at all. In fact, it honestly should be illegal, because movies like this are so creative when it comes to the animation. And that's the thing. AI isn't creative. It's lazy. And that's the thing I don't think the industry understands, is that, well, yes, it is quicker. The fact that this movie took like 5 years to make, it's all around a fantastic film, and it really feels earned. The fact that there was actual effort put into the film, the fact that, there was actual like storytelling that had no use of a robot, it really needs to make people think more often rather than just going with it. Because yeah, even DreamWorks knows. Why else do you think that The Wild Robot was such a big hit with critics and audiences? Because it was a good movie made by real human beings. And that movie was about a robot too. But enough on that subject. Let me just talk about how good this movie is. My only main gripes were some of the scenes that lasted a little bit too long. There wasn't a whole lot of them, Because again, the movie never fully dragged on way too long where it just felt boring. And sure, some of the jokes in the movie, they're kind of a little too, like, I don't know, there's literally a pee joke and a fart joke that almost had me going, okay, so is this for the kiddies? But much later on, it truly made up for that, and I was all like, nope, nope, this is not a kids movie. So you know what? You're forgiven for those jokes. But in the end, guys, Ne Zha II, what a ride this film was. This is a movie that feels like, you don't really need to watch the first film to fully enjoy this one. In fact, it'll probably encourage you to watch the first movie to get the full storyline, because there's a lot to this story, and it never seems to want to slow down. It has a great beginning, it has a great middle, it has a great end. It knows how to tell a story while the animation is just leaping out at you in the best possible way. It's stylish, the action is fun, the characters are likable. It is all around a great film. It's one of the best animated films to come out this year, and it has definitely earned its fortune. And I don't mean the kind in cookies. I really need to see something this good on the biggest screen possible after sitting at home and watching that thing. Yeah, I refuse to call that thing a movie. But yeah, movies like this are the reason I enjoy going out to see movies. It doesn't matter if it's an animated film, a live action film. I just enjoy going out to see movies in general. And I'm glad that this is getting a wider release in America finally. Go check it out this weekend. Regardless if you've seen the first movie or not, there's still a lot to enjoy about this film. Whether if you're Irish, American, Australian, there's a lot to this film that I think anybody, almost anybody, can appreciate. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description. And I'll see you guys later. Word out.